Hi, I'm Anna Olsen here on A1R Radio, and I am here to do my segment every week, Tuesdays, 1:30 Pacific Standard Time, 3:30 Eastern Standard Time in the United States. If you're out of the United States, you can always check those time zones to see when I'm going to be on, and I will also post up on Facebook, Instagram, and my account on TikTok, which is Anna O Intuitive. Instagram is Tiny Medium Queendom, and Facebook is Anna Olsen Intuitive. So that's where you can reach me and find me. You can also go to my website. It's at the bottom of the screen, which is AnnaOlsenIntuitive.com. I do psychic readings. I do spiritual counseling and counsel. And I'm also proud to announce that I'm going to start doing a hypnotherapy program that specializes in trauma. So that will probably be done within 6 months to a year from now. And I'm also happy to announce that I have graduated from a course in Harvard University on oracles, omens, and prophecies, taught by an astronomer who is absolutely amazing. And I will also be graduating from a few other Harvard online, it's called Harvard X programs. It's going to be an anatomy course, so a medical anatomy course, and then I'm also going to be doing some other courses through there to better serve the people that I am doing readings on or working with. So I'm constantly upgrading my services and my skill set for you. And that's my basic goal, is to make sure that I am making you as healthy, happy, and happy with everything that I do with you after a session. So that's my goal. I'm going outside tarot cards, but if you still want to learn how to read, learn what your intuition and your psychic abilities or your extrasensory abilities are, I'm here to teach you. I am here to let you know what you need to do to figure out what your extrasensory abilities are, because if you've had them your whole life, you don't know what they are because you don't know the difference, and you don't know if you're different than other people. Even if somebody uses their extrasensory abilities regularly and other people witness it, half the time people don't understand that's different than the norm. And that's really what I want to hit on when I'm doing either one-on-one coaching with people who are basically wanting to learn about their intuition and their extrasensory abilities, but I'm also going to be putting together some classes, an intuitive group, due to many requests. So I have people just randomly calling me and asking me, can you do an online or in-person or both intuitive class, where we have people who want to learn about their intuition, who want to get more in touch with their intuition or practice their intuition or psychic abilities. We all have them, by the way. We can get together and we can figure that out. You can learn your skill set. You can figure out what you're good at. You can always try it and see. And I think you would be pleasantly surprised. So with that said, I want to do a really quick lesson quickly on how to read cards. It's a big mystery to most people. And as a reader now for the public for over 7 years, I can tell you that a lot of it is really a natural skill set. You do kind of have to already have some innate skill sets with reading cards. And if cards aren't your thing when you're doing readings or you're trying to get message from spirit, which I've done actually with big ticket items in my life, I'm talking about huge things: buying a house, job, career, schools. When you're doing a reading, it's important to learn what modality or type of reading fits you the best. So when you go into doing a reading of any kind, some people do better with remote viewing. Some people do better with reading auras. Some people do better with tarot. Some people do better with tea leaf. Some people do better just with mediumship and not using any modality like that. So, it's really just up to you to find out what your skill set is. And that's usually something that I go through with people, because I do feel that it's important to know, even not just if you wanted to make a living doing it, but also basically just if you are wanting to just use it in your own life. You don't have to make a living off of it. You can just use it in your daily life where you're not, sure of a situation, or you really need some extra help making a decision of your own, in your own life. This comes in handy. So let's just go into it really quickly. I have this really great deck of cards here. Um, this is Living with a Feather Heart by Jennifer Sodini. I'm going to show this clearly. I want this author to get credit for this beautiful deck of cards. It is gorgeous. It includes shadow side, and it includes the higher consciousness and the higher self as well, which I love because too many cards don't include both, and both are very important. So when we just have shadow side that we're working with, or we just have our higher self, you're in denial on either end. So it's important to know that when we are dealing with our shadow side, you're dealing with a very delicate issue of ourselves, our subconscious, unconscious mind. And you're also dealing with your higher self in a spiritual sense, in which if you are denying your shadow side while you're working with your higher self, that light, bright part of us all, you're neglecting the shadow side. And that's where people can get a little bit like this. And you kind of notice they're kind of out of touch. And then you're kind of realizing that, you know, they're not integrating both sides. And you notice that they're kind of out of touch and they're too high up, which can be a way to be in denial, basically, from your real problems and the things that will really help ground you and get you back into where you need to be for healing and for reality. Because this planet, if we're not really integrated into our shadow self, that's rooted into the ground and into the earth and into this dimension, your mind can actually, when you see people that are kind of staring and kind of like, oh, you know, like they're kind of seem out of touch, they're actually not completely in this dimension. And we can't learn fully what we need to learn from healing our trauma and our subconscious through this dimension without addressing that there needs to be a bridge between the conscious higher self and the unconscious shadow side. So that's where we want to build a bridge. And that's really where a lot of the spiritual work is done, the emotional work, physical work. It's all connected. It's all holistic. And that's what I like to really touch on. And that's also really what draws us into relationships. That's what draws us into finding those people who will teach us the most with any relationship, whether that be a work relationship, whether that be, you know, a modality of a romantic relationship, a friendship, a child-parent relationship. It doesn't matter what the relationship. We need to be in touch with these parts of ourselves for any relationship where we can learn the most and be really just given feedback about how we are functioning as a person in this society. So that said, let's look at this deck. It's really beautiful. Living with a Feather Heart, again, by Jennifer Sodini. Want to give her credit. Jennifer Sodini, Living with a Feather Heart. Love the higher self and the shadow self on the back. I love that integration that she puts into this. So let's say that I have a question. I have a client who comes in. First of all, I want to ground and protect my area. You want to put a shield around you of protection. You also want to really close out any sort of portals or other places that you've been with other people, you know, reading. You want it to be just focused in your circle with you being the reader, the person who's there to serve this person. And then you want to make sure that that person, you're opening up their portal, you're putting it even over your head, and you can kind of like get in touch with their energy and their spirit guides. Okay, then you have them ask a question. Usually I know the question before they come in because I can feel it. And when they come in and they sit down, I can sense usually what they're feeling. Sometimes they cry, even right when they just sit down, because they can feel this healing space and that it's okay to release. So you want it to be a very inviting space that isn't about you as the reader. It's about them as the person who needs the reading, because this is about service. This is about love. This is about putting that person in a place where it really is all about them in that moment, and that it's not about per se me. It's about them and making sure that they're served as a human being on this planet, which will increase the higher consciousness in the general population significantly, even with just one person, considering the butterfly effect. If you've ever looked into or heard about the butterfly effect, I really do suggest looking into that. It's like one drop in the ocean can create a ripple effect worldwide. We want to help even just one person understand their true beauty, their true importance, and the true love that they have been made with and why they are here on this planet. So these things are not really easily explainable in an eternal sense in this, I guess, with language or in this dimension. So Usually I'd like to just let the person know, trust me, you want to look for your significant importance in this world and on this planet and in the world thereafter once we leave this planet. So it all fits together beautifully, very nicely like a puzzle. And there are some pieces that we need to kind of fit together. So moving on, once the person sits down and asks a question, I'm going to focus on the question, right? You want to shuffle your cards while you're thinking about that person so that you're really getting into that energy of what that person needs. So let's say if I want to ask about, should I get a cat? I'm just going to ask something really general and basic. So should I get a cat? Okay, so I'm going to shuffle the cards thinking about a cat, thinking about a pet. I love cats. I have a great affinity and a love for animals. Let's see, should I get a cat? I just saw a vulture fly outside my window. That was interesting. Could be a sign, might not be. You want to look around you and make sure that you're seeing things. Saw a hummingbird. Okay, there's a hummingbird and a vulture. So the wind's blowing. It's beautiful outside. There's sunshine I'm seeing out the window. Okay, first thing I'm going to do is cut my deck. I'm just going to cut it in half. 2 piles. I'm going to pull 1 and 2. Spirit's just telling me how to do this as I go. First thing that I'm getting, they're both inverted, so they're both upside down. I got these 2 cards. Inverted means upside down. Let's look at the one on the left that usually means past. Okay, it says, I speak with good intent. And there is an animal on this, but it is a bird. So let me show our viewers what this is. This is a beautiful card. Look at this art. These artists are amazing. Give them credit. Give them credit. This is Jennifer Sodini. Beautiful. Let's give these beautiful artists their credit. I speak with good intent. Okay, so that's the past. I speak with good intent. The way I'm seeing that and feeling that card right now is that I speak with my heart and how much I love animals and how much I want a cat. Can I really deal with that right now? Will I be traveling? Maybe it isn't the best idea. I think saying it sounds good, but have you ever heard the term, it sounded like a good idea at the time? That's kind of what I'm getting from Spirit about this topic with me getting a cat. Okay, let's look at the next one. It's also inverted. I ask respectfully of others. Let's hold this one up now for the camera. I am again showing this beautiful art from Jennifer Sodini. She's absolutely amazing, Living with a Feather Heart. Okay, so it says, I act respectfully of others. Now, I have a neighborhood where there are a lot of other cats right now. I act respectfully of others. If the cat went outside, I mean, I don't think I could keep an indoor cat right now. Both cards are inverted. To me, that feels like a no. Nope. No cat right now. That's a quick answer. Now, the other thing that you can do if you're just starting out, you get the 2 cards that you pulled, right? That you felt called to pull. I speak with good intent. I'm going to take out the little book that comes with the cards. This is the beginner's guide on how to do this, okay? I speak with good intent. So I'm going to look through and I am going to, these are all so positive, by the way, all of these affirmations on these cards. If you look through them, they're just amazing. Wonderful, positive. Okay, so I keep the waters pure, I do good. See, these are about very, very positive. I am accepting, I act respectfully of others. Let's do that one first, because I got to that first. I'm gonna open it up to this card, okay? It's just gonna correlate to the card that I pulled. So you're going to read the passage. I tend to read pretty quickly, so basically the gist that I'm getting of this card is that living as a conduit of the golden rule, that we pass pure positive energy to all we encounter and perennially leave a lasting impression. That speaks very well to, I just kind of read this real quick, but it really just speaks well to me really thinking about others and living the golden rule that everything that I do does affect others. Okay, so now I'm going to go on to I speak with good intent. I think I already know what this means. I just want to confirm a lot about readings or getting messages from spirit or with your psychic abilities or extra sensory abilities is that you are just confirming what you already inherently know for a fact. Sometimes our conscious mind just needs a confirmation from spirit or from our own intuition in our surroundings to confirm that we were right or that we were wrong. Okay. So, this is also, I wanted to add 42 negative confessions of Matt. So, this is really interesting because this is in the middle of the book. And I think this is another thing that's really beautiful about this is that these are negative confessions, which are 1 through 42. The first one is, I have not committed sin. I have not committed robbery with violence. I have not stolen. These are very interesting. So these are something you can kind of study on your own time if you ever come across this deck and this guide. So anyway, I just would go through, look at the book with I speak with good, good intent. And I would just read it, just real quick to synapse it. I would just read it real quick. And I would just pretty much look at what it says and then go from there and see if it confirms what I'm already thinking. If not, what else is it telling me that I don't know? That's really what this is about. This is about learning about yourself and others and what would be best for the highest and greater good. That's basically what readings are about. We want to know what is best for the highest and greater good, meaning the best for everyone. Sometimes what's good for me in the moment that I want immediately, like with my dopamine hit or whatever you want to call it, is not the best thing for everyone involved. And that is the gist of it, because if I'm not doing what's best for everyone involved at that moment, and I'm short-sighted about the facts involved long-term, you know how they say hindsight's 20/20. You look back and you can go, oh, maybe that wasn't the best idea. Seemed like a good idea at the time. This is really about giving you guidance of being able to look into the future and see things that you couldn't initially see about your situation or the choice that you're going to make. And I think that that's really what's phenomenal about this work is that we can not just look at the timeline, we can look at the trajectory of different choices. So I can sit down with somebody and say, look, if you make this decision, this is your choice, you have free agency, you get to do whatever you want, but understand that every decision you make has a trajectory on your timeline, and there's the butterfly effect. So every decision we make as human beings has a long-term effect. Every decision we make in our lives has a long-term effect. And that is what I like to base my advisories and my advice on. So when I say, okay, if you take this job in Texas, this is what you need to know. I can look down the trajectory of that decision and tell the person what's going to happen. If you do not take the job and you stay where you are and instead take this job in this city, this is what's going to happen. It gives somebody insight as to how it would work out. And of course, I can always put my own advice on it and say, if I were you, this is what I would do. Obvious to them, if the trajectory outcome is good and it's preferable to what they want, usually every human being wants the same things, then now they have a nice informed, manageable way to know what to do next. And the only catch to this modality is when somebody's not really willing to make I guess it would be like a sacrifice or an investment, because to them that would be too much, or that would be like they don't have the courage. Sometimes people don't have the confidence or courage to make decisions that will invest short term for a long term better outcome. And that's kind of like the investor financially investing a large sum of money now to make even more money later. Yes, it will take away from their money now. Yes, they can't use it now. It's kind of tricky. It's kind of scary. They're not 100% sure, it's kind of like, oh, this is kind of scary. Change and making big decisions that you're not used to making is a lot of what we do here. And getting out of your comfort zone and being more comfortable with change is usually the key to increasing your finances, relationship quality, where you're living, your job, your career, all of this together, your family, all these things together that people usually want advice on. Those don't change until you do something different than what you're doing now. The pattern has to change. You want something to change? Why is it the same? It's because you've been doing the same thing and expecting a different result. Totally normal. That's how us humans are. We like to be safe, cozy, and comfortable. You want a big change in your life, you're going to have to make a big change in your patterns, especially with relationships. Relationships are something that we just can't expect it to always be the same if we're doing the same things over many years or even months or weeks. If you want it to be different and the other person is not making a change, you have to be the change you want to see. And this is scary. It's uncomfortable. So this is where a lot of my readings are based. In addition, I do have like, a lot of like life coaching stuff that I like to offer if people want it. It's just whatever people want. And that's why I'm also going to do the course in hypnotherapy, because there's a great modality that I love that's highly effective, more effective than most therapy, and as great as therapy is, and how, a lot of people have benefited from that, it's even like a few steps up. And it's just programming the mind, the conscious and the subconscious real quick, to what you want and to what you need and to what will give you the highest yield and what your goals are for you. And the other thing is that most people that I work with have very different goals. I'm actually very surprised when I sit down with somebody and they say, oh, this is my goal. And I'm going, well, that's different than usual. But, that's their journey. That's what they want. That's their focus. And then it makes sense later to me why that works. Your goals are always perfect, just the way they are. Making a goal is better than no goal. Having a goal is going to get you farther than not having a goal. That's where we like to start. But so now that we went over a little bit of how to read the cards and how to use these cards, there are a lot of interesting conversations about cards and how they work. I've known people who think that they intuitively pick the right card, which is very possible. There's a lot of research on people who will know what's behind under a card before they turn it over. There's a lot of science behind that. I could definitely roll with that. There's also a lot of talk about, people who work with angels. I know of an intuitive who works with angels. She says, the angels give me the right card. They tell me which card. Okay, that's her thing. Everybody has different labels to this. And I think as long as you feel comfortable in the modality that you're using and it works and you see it work, and every time you notice not only is it accurate, but it makes perfect sense to you, it feels peaceful, good, and amazing, then that's the type that you need to use. And I really think that picking the right cards that really speak to you is very important. It has to be what you need for your practice or for your personality. Now, I love these Italian art cards too. I also like to use these for men because they can work more with, masculine energies. They have absolutely beautiful golden art on them with like what looks like old Italian art. There's a lot of gold, what looks like gold foil on them. It shimmers, it's absolutely beautiful. There's this type of art that's just very classic and beautiful to me. I think it's, just really tasteful. There's a lot of, it's not all, like, as much as I love all different oracles and cards, it's not just to one style or one men or women, it's everybody. And you can find your nice neutral decks. You can find whatever works for you. And I think like what I really want to focus on is how do you look at a card and suddenly you get a message? I cannot stress enough that to get a message from a card, you just have to tap into your intuition and meditate a little bit on that card. Look at it and really focus and keep your shield up and ground, meaning you're going to like feel very peaceful. You're going to feel like there's a light coming through like the top of your head, grounding you into the ground through your feet. People feel this in different ways. You're going to look at the card and just ask, okay, what question you have or what topic you want to focus on. What is that card telling you? It could really reflect what's on the card. This could be, I don't know, social time among women. It could be sisters. There's 3 women standing there and, they're having a great time. Could be a past life, could be pre-existence. It could be anything that just rings true for you by looking at that card and that art. Spirit will communicate through images, because as a medium, I can tell you most conversations I have with spirit are through images, feelings, sometimes words, sometimes hearing a name or seeing a name in my field of vision. So it's just about what you get visually from the card, and even emotionally and vibe-wise. Like, what is the vibe you're getting? What is the electromagnetic field from that message telling you? So this is all very scientific, I wish that I could elaborate a little more on the science behind this, electromagnetics and physics, but for now, I do have to close out for today. If you would like to work with me or get a reading or a session, or just look into my services further, you can always go to AnnaOlsenIntuitive.com. It's at the bottom of the screen here on my show today with A1R. You can also contact me on Instagram at Tiny Medium Queendom, TINY Medium Queendom. And you can also reach me through messaging me on TikTok if you'd like. It's Anna O Intuitive, ANNAO Intuitive on TikTok. And Facebook, it is Anna Olsen Intuitive. I get messages as well there. I'd rather you go online and reach me there on TikTok or Instagram. Those are the most reliable ways. But I hope you have a wonderful week. I would love to work with you. Give me a call or let me know if you would like. You can even, I'll have my phone number on my website. I have like a business line there that you can always text or call.